This lecture is prepared for the PLM Raha ROTC unit. Good day, cadets. This lecture is about the basic unit formation. Before the discussion, let me introduce myself. I am First Lieutenant Jose Carriaga, Reserve Philippine Army. I am a member of the 105th Task Group, 1st Task Brigade, Reserve, NCR, under the AFP Reserve Command, a BS Mechanical Engineering graduate, and work at the Department of Engineering and Public Works, City of Manila. Our objectives for this lecture is to know the different basic unit formation and the team, squad, and platoon movements. The Infantry Squad is the smallest unit having elements that will confront the enemy face to face. It is organized and equipped to fight swiftly and with lethality. Independent actions of a squad shall always be part of the platoon operation. The mission of the squad is to close with the enemy by means of fire and maneuver, to destroy or capture him or repel his assault by fire, close combat, and counterattack. The infantry squad is capable of performing the following independent actions as part of the platoon operations. Maneuver in all types of local weather and terrain. Seize and hold any terrain. Secure a designated area of operation for short and relatively long periods, especially in counter-insurgency operations. Infiltrate into enemy-controlled terrain or areas. Conduct operations in semi or urban areas. Perform operations under limited visibility. The infantry squad is entirely dependent on the platoon and higher units for unit-level administration, supply, unit-level maintenance of communication equipment, transportation, medical support, mortar fire support. Here is a short video from the 120th anniversary of the Hukbong Katihan ng Pilipinas about the infantry squad. Fire team formation composed of Team Alpha and Team Bravo. Each team is composed of team leader, automatic rifleman, grenadier, and rifleman. Wedge formation on your left is the Alpha team, and Bravo team on your right. Squad leader position is optional. The wedge is the basic formation for a fire team, moving in a more or less open terrain. The wedge is practical in terrain that does not restrict the fire team in maintaining the desired distances and arrangement of elements. Rough terrain and poor visibility are among the factors that make the control of wedge difficult. The wedge expands and contracts depending on the terrain. The interval between elements in a wedge formation is normally 10 meters. The normal interval may be reduced to allow the members to see their team leader, and the team leaders will see their squad leader. The sides of the wedge may contract to the point where the wedge resembles a single file. But as soon as the unit moves in less rugged terrain, where control is easier, soldiers expand to resume their original positions. Pile formation, if you notice, this formation is used in the previous video shown. When the terrain restrains the use of the wedge, fire teams use the pile formation. In the countryside, where the ground is restricted by dense vegetation or the visibility is limited, the pile formation is prepared over the wedge. Rifles are pointed alternately to the flanks for security. This is the comparison of fire team formation. Wedge is normally used when basic fire team formation in open terrain, easy in control, with good flexibility. The fire capabilities allows immediate fires in all directions, good all-around security. While the pile is normally used in closed terrain, dense vegetation, limited visibility conditions, easiest control, less flexible than the wedge, allow immediate fires to the flanks, most fires to the rear, and the security is good to the flanks. Squad formation. Formations are arrangement of units and soldiers in relation to each other. Squad formation describes the relationship between fire teams in the squad. The squad leader is responsible in choosing the most appropriate formation for the squad. He will weigh his decision based on the requirements of the mission and security. There are 3 types of squad formations: column, line, and pile. Squad column. The squad column is the squad most common formation, particularly in open terrain. It provides good dispersion laterally and in depth without sacrificing control, and facilitate maneuver. The lead fire team is the base fire team. When the squad moves independently or as the rear element of the platoon, the rifleman in the trail fire team provides rear security. Squad line. The squad line provides maximum firepower to the front. When a squad is acting as the base squad of the platoon, the fire team on the right is the base fire team. It has a limited maneuver capability. Squad pile. Squad pile is the preferred formation in densely vegetated terrain and limited visibility environment. When not traveling in a column or line, squad travels in pile. The squad pile has the same characteristics as the fire team pile. The squad leader may position himself at the front if he desires to increase his control over the formation, exert greater leadership, presence, or be immediately available to make key decisions. To provide additional control over the rear of the formation, a team leader can be positioned at the second to the last position of the squad formation. Comparison of squad formation. Column is normally used when open or less rugged terrain. In control is good. In flexibility, facilitate maneuver, good dispersion, laterally and in depth. Allow large volume of fire to the flank, limited volume to the front as fire capabilities, while the security is all around. Line, when maximum firepower is required to the front, not as good as squad column in control. Regarding flexibility, has limited maneuver capability since both fire teams are committed. Allows maximum immediate fire to the front, and in security, good to the front, little to the flanks and rear. While pile is normally used when in closed terrain, vegetation, limited visibility conditions, easiest control. In flexibility, most difficult conformation from which to maneuver. Fire capabilities allows immediate fire to the flank, most fire to the front and rear, and has a least security. Movement technique. A movement technique is the manner by which the squad uses to traverse over a terrain. There are three movement techniques: traveling, traveling over watts, bounding over watts. The selection of a movement technique is based on the likelihood of enemy contact and the need for speed. The factors to consider for each technique are control, dispersion, speed, and security. Movement techniques are not fixed formation. They refer to distances between soldiers and teams that vary based on mission, enemy, terrain, visibility, and any other factors that affect control. In all situations, soldiers must be able to see their fire team leader. The squad leader must be able to see his fire team leaders. Leaders control movement with hand signals. They use radios only when needed. Any of the three movement techniques can be used with any formation. Traveling. This technique is used when contact with the enemy is not likely and speed is important. Distance between individuals is about 10 to 20 meters between squads. Traveling over watts. This is used when contact is possible. The squad moves in column with a 50-meter interval with designated lead and trail teams. The lead team is approximately 50 meters ahead of the trail team, depending on the terrain and vegetation. The trail team moves at varying speeds, stopping as required to overwatch the lead team. Visual contact is maintained with the lead team at all times. The trail team overwatches at such a distance that will allow them to provide fire and maneuver to support the leading team. In wooded areas or restricted terrain, the teams reduce speed and interval. Bounding over watts. Bounding over watts is used when contact is expected. When the squad leader feels the enemy is near through movement, noise, reflection, thrust, press, tracks, or even hunts, or when a large open danger area must be crossed. The lead fire team overwatches first. Soldiers scan for enemy positions. The trail fire team bounds, then signal the squad leader when his team completes its bound and is prepared to overwatch the moving team. Both teams must know if successive or alternate bounds will be used and which team the squad leader will be with. Successive bounds are easier to control, while alternate bounds can be faster. The overwatching team leader must know the route and destination of the bounding team. The bounding team leader must know his team's destination and route, the possible enemy locations, and the actions to take when he arrives there. He must also know where the overwatching team will be and how it will receive its instructions. The available cover and concealment along the bounding team's route dictates how its soldiers move. Characteristics of movement technique. Traveling is normally used when contact not likely. More control, less dispersion, fastest, and the security is least. Traveling over watts, contact possible, less control, more dispersion, slower speed, and more security. While bounding over watts is normally used when contact is expected, has a least control, most dispersion, slowest speed, most secured. Rifle platoon. The rifle platoon fights as part of a light infantry battalion. It is consisted with 3 rifle squads with a platoon leader and a platoon sergeant. Each rifle squad is composed of 9 men. Platoon can operate as a single unit under the platoon leader. The squad is also designed and trained to conduct decentralized, independent operation when required. Duties and responsibilities. Platoon leader is responsible for all the platoon does or fails to do. This includes the tactical employment, training administration, and personnel management, and the logistics of the platoon. Platoon sergeant assists the platoon leader in the supervision, admin, and training, discipline, and most especially in the moral and the welfare of the platoon. While the squad leader responsible for what the squad does or fails to do, responsible in the control and supervision of his squad activity. Platoon movements. Movement formation describes the positional relationships of men during movement. The formation used depends on the mission and the terrain. The distance between the elements depends on the mission and the terrain, visibility, and control factors. Types of formation. Squad in line. This formation has the following characteristics. Cover maximum frontage, provides little security to the flanks and rear, allows for speed amount of immediate fire forward. Squad column. This is the traveling formation. It has the following characteristic. Easy to control, provide good all-around security, and make the best use of the movement techniques. Next, the squad in pile. We're not traveling in column or line. Squads travel in pile. It has the following characteristics. Easy to control, facilitate speed of movement, provide maximum frontage, flexible in nature. Special operations. The Ranger Squad organization. Composed of the lead scout, guide, team leader, radioman, assistant radioman, contact man, tail scout. The Rangers, they called them as the operators. Ito yung mga sundalo natin na sa gabi lumalakad at sa araw natutulog. They move like a panther. Duties and responsibilities of each squad members. The lead scout, he is the point man. He ensures the security of his squad. He always chooses the advantageous terrain during the movement. He physically and mentally prepared to shoot the enemy first. Prepares himself for a quick draw. The safety lever of his rifle is on semi-automatic the whole time. The guide takes on a supporting role to the lead scout. He is expected to be always at the back of the lead scout. There are times that he will stay by the side of lead scout. When there is imminent danger to the front, the lead scout and the guide are abreast to maintain two rifles to unload their stinging bullets. The guide often controls the pace of the squad. So sila ang nagdidikta kung mabilis o mabagal ang kanilang lakad. The guide helps out in making path through the jungle. So sila ang naghahawi kung halimbawa matataas ang mga damo dyan, yung mga talahib, they making path through. He makes sure that the squad is always on the right track. The team leader is responsible for what his team does or fails to do. Radioman. The radioman is the voice of command. He is responsible for all the signal equipment of the squad. He emphasizes radio security. He must always be beside the squad leader. He always gives feedback on all instructions. Assistant radioman. The assistant radioman has a lot of duties to perform for the team. He acts the aircraft marshal and as the sniper of the squad. The assistant radioman assists the radioman with the operation of the squad radio. The contact man. During the commando operations, the contact man is the point man. He disguises as a rebel and mingles with the barrio residents to fish for information of intelligence value. So, ibig sabihin nito, kung yung pinunta nilang lugar ay lugar ng mga mangingisda, so ang base niya mangingisda rin. Kung ang pinunta niya ay farmers, yung sa ganun din ang disguise niya, farmers. He is responsible for the conduct of civil military operation. He is the squad silent killing specialist. He is the primary interrogator of the squad. He is the media man of the squad. The contact man must also master the dialect in the area as the intelligence agent of the squad and the demolitionist. Okay, ibig sabihin yan, kung na-assign kayo sa Bicol, kailangan maalam ng dialect na Bicolano yung contact man. Kung napunta kayo ng bandang Ilocos or Ilocano, kailangan marunong din siya ng Ilocano. O ibig sabihin, hindi lang isang dialect ang kanyang alam na salita. Tail Scout, siya ang rear security. So, siya rin ang responsable sa inyong pagkain, responsible for the subsistence of the squad, responsible for policing the harboring area. He is in charge of counter-attacking. Ibig sabihin yung pag nag-harbor kayo sa isang area, binubura niya yan, yung mga damo, yung mga talayib na nahiga, natumba, tinatayo niya yan bago umalis. Kung may bakas kayo, ibinubura rin niya yon. And lahat ng mga pinagkaitan ninyo, halimbawa mga delata, hinuhukay niya yan tapos binabao niya. Hindi sila nag-iiwan ng palatandaan na nag-harbor sila doon sa area na yon. Okay, these operators, kinatatakutan ng mga kalaban sapagkat yun nga, bago nila makuha yung pagka scout ranger nila, ay katakot-takot na training ang dadaanan muna nila. And the last training na tatapusin nila ay yung kailangan meron silang ma-accomplish sa mission. To summarize our discussion, leaders choose formation on their analysis of the MET-TC and likelihood of enemy contact. MET-TC stands for mission, enemy, terrain, troops, time available, and civil consideration. We have two fighting formations, the wedge and the pile formations. The basic fire team formation is the wedge. With this formation, all soldiers in the team must be able to see their leader, and it is used unless modified because the terrain and dense vegetation on mission. The pile formation is used in close terrain, dense vegetation, and or limited visibility. The squad formation describes the relationship between fire teams in the squad. We identified three squad formations: the column, line, and file. The column formation is the primary squad formation, unless MET-TC dictates otherwise. The line formation is used when maximum firepower is needed to the front, while the pile formation is used in close terrain, dense vegetation, and or limited visibility. Leaders choose a movement techniques based on their mission analysis of MET-TC and likelihood of enemy contact and security. We identified three movement techniques: the traveling over watch, and bounding over watch. Traveling movement technique is used when contact is not likely. Traveling over watch is used when contact is possible. Bounding over watch has two types: successive and alternate bounding, and it's used when contact is likely or imminent. That's for our lecture. If you have additional questions, please contact your instructors. Thank you very much. Always stay safe. Okay?